If you like Academic Agent's content on this channel, sign up for a course on the Academic Agency. He's now offering Foundations of Economics. Click the link in the show description and level up your econ knowledge.
Well, hello everyone. This is a little bit different from me today, and it won't be too long, this video. But yesterday was quite a nice day. It seemed to be the first day of the spring proper. The sun came out. It was quite warm, and I decided it would be quite nice to take a little day trip down to what is known as the Runnymede Pleasure Gardens to go and feed the ducks and let the little one practice walking and that sort of stuff. And one of the things in Runnymede Pleasure Gardens is this rather magnificent looking statue of Queen Elizabeth II. I took this picture myself, and it got me thinking. I spent some time looking at this and having a little look around this monument, and I wondered, well, what is it that Queen Elizabeth II stands for? What does this monument actually mean? Now, before I continue, I should say that on a personal level, I quite respect Queen Elizabeth. And I think, like a lot of British people, I admire the fact that she always seems to put her public duty and her obligation above her personal wants and feelings. She's been the Queen since 1952. In all that time, she hasn't really put a foot wrong in terms of saying the wrong thing in public, venturing an opinion on anything. She's done a magnificent job of being a diplomat and an ambassador for the country, and I have no criticisms of her on that level. However, what is it that this monument means? What is it that the people who put this monument here think that they were representing with the figure of Elizabeth II, and what does she in fact represent? I've sometimes wondered whether if she hadn't been there, the stability of the country may have been rocked more than it has been. But some questions may be asked as to, well, is that a good thing? She's a very steadying influence. She's been the Queen over many, many different prime ministers since Winston Churchill. She's seen them all come and go. And I think, for a lot of people, as long as she's there, it still feels like the country is safe and is not going to hell in a handbasket. But I think the question we have to ask ourselves in 2021 is, well, is that a good thing? Is this steadying influence that she has actually for the best for everybody? And what is it that she is maintaining? What is it that she is keeping in place? And I think this monument, as I'm about to show you, offers a few clues. So the first thing I'll note is that it was unveiled, this statue, on the 14th of June 2015 by the former Speaker of the House of Commons, the preening John Bercow, who many of you will remember for his flamboyant turns during the whole Brexit saga, and various other dignitaries, including Philip Hammond, the former Chancellor of the Exchequer, who was the MP for Runnymede, and Daniel Hannan, the kind of libertarian MEP as he was. He was a Tory as well, and various other people. So you can see that this was mainly erected by people who were in the Tory party, and this. I had a look. There are these lists of sponsors, so you can see these individuals donated money, including various people. Michael Spencer, I noted, was one of them. He is quite a wealthy donor to the Tory party, and there's also notably Sheikh Murray Murabak Mahfouz bin Mahfouz. Don't know much about him, but I do know that Michael Spencer is a Tory. So this statue has got the Conservative Party of 2015 all over it, really. And if you have a look at the companies involved, Dan Hanan was instrumental in getting this put up, and Crest Nicholson and Aviva Investors and ICAP PLC. Like, these are all, I looked into the backgrounds of each of these companies to see who they were, and they seem to be companies who are in and around the Tory establishment. Okay, so this is not by any stretch of the imagination something that's been put here by leftists, and I think that's important to note. When I say it hasn't been put there by leftists, people who are nominally of the right, not on the left, although what that actually means we'll come to see in a second. Now, they put this slab here, and the reason that there are these pleasure gardens here is because the Magna Carta was signed not too far away, and there's a separate monument up by where the Magna Carta was signed. But there's a whole suite of these kind of royal parks and things in and around Runnymede to commemorate the signing of the Magna Carta. So they have this quotation from the Magna Carta. It says, "No free man shall be taken, imprisoned, stripped of his rights or possessions, outlawed or exiled, or in any way ruined, nor will we proceed against or prosecute him except by the lawful judgment of his peers and by the law of the land. This passed into law on the 15th of June 2015 and remains on the statute book today." So they're saying that the rule of law and the idea of freedom are two central pivots of what it means to be British, and there it is, enshrined in stone by the Magna Carta. Quite what that means now in today's lockdown Britain, who knows, but anyway, there it is. Now, what's quite interesting and what caught my eye and made me make this video is just in front of this statue is a kind of potted history, a potted legal history of the UK. Let's just have a little look at this video to see what's there. I took this for footage myself. So it starts here in 1015. You can see they've called it Magna Carta timeline. It starts with Edgar's coronation oath in 973 and Ethelred's agreement with the Witan 1014. So let's move forward. Then we get the coronation oath of Henry I and the laws of Edward the Confessor 1100, Magna Carta in 1215, de Montfort's Parliament and the Peasants' Revolt in 1381. Then we go all the way forward to the publication of the Magna Carta in English in 1584. Then we get the Petition of Right in 1628, the trial of John Hampden, 1637, Putney debates, trial of Charles I in 1649. So these are all like a series of defeats for the royal family, essentially, in this country, but kind of interesting. Then habeas corpus is 1679, the Bill of Rights, 1689. They've also got John Locke's Treatise on Civil Government in 1689. So far, so good. You'd expect all of these things to be in a kind of constitutional history of England or of the United Kingdom. Then you get the Act of Settlement in 1701. Moving forward, we get Somerset versus Stuart, 1772. The American Declaration of Independence, 1776. Quite why that is there, I don't know, because that was a massive loss for the crown. Why that is included here on the same on the same bit as the Magna Carta. I mean, maybe they figured that Americans would like to, would be coming here and would like to see it, but anyway, they've included the American Declaration of Independence, Parliament debates published in 1803, the Great Reform Act in 1832, and I discussed that on a recent cigar stream with my buddy Apostolistic Majesty. Then we have the abolition of slavery in 1833. I mean, you'd expect that to be there. That's the abolition of slavery across the British Empire, of course. Slavery was always banned in England. You get the People's Charter in 1838. Now, this is the bit that really caught my eye. The Communist Manifesto, published in English, 1850. 9 years before John Stuart Mill's On Liberty. Now, why is the Communist Manifesto included? A book written by a German author that has absolutely no legal jurisdiction, that has absolutely nothing to do with the legal history of this country. Why is the Communist Manifesto included on this Tory erected and paid for monument to Queen Elizabeth II? I really question why that is there, and it's been bothering me ever since I saw it. Why is that included? Of all the, why isn't Edmund Burke's, Reflections on the Revolution in France included? If they're going to just, willy-nilly add a political tract, what is effectively a political pamphlet by Marx and Engels, it really has no place on this slab of pavement here. Yet there it is. Interesting that the Communist Manifesto is included. Any fans of history, please tell me why the people who made this monument thought it was a good idea to include the Communist Manifesto, in this potted history of England. And then as we move forward, we have, what else do we have? So the Parliament Act 1911, the Equal Franchise Act of 1918. I mean, you'd expect, fair enough, because we're talking about Magna Carta. They, at least you could say, well, there's a reason for them to be there, much less so the Communist Manifesto. And then the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948, of course, a much more sinister declaration. Human rights are a very sinister set of ideas that were brought about after the end of the Second World War that probably warrant much closer inspection by the vast majority of people. The idea that this Universal Declaration of Human Rights is a great thing, or a profound thing for humanity, is one of those aspects of what I call the boomer truth regime that people need to think about a bit more. But anyway, 1949, the Indian Constitution. So that's Gandhi, of course. Now, I can see why that might be included, because he was a lawyer and he was drawing on British law to make the case, and making an appeal to Magna Carta, perhaps. I can see why that might be there, and of course it was independence from the British Empire, and they included the American one, so why not include the Indian one? But again, this is a monument to Elizabeth II, and yet it's all about the dissolution of the Crown's powers and the dissolution of the British Empire. So it's just kind of, what is it that Elizabeth II stands for? Is it Indian independence? Is it the Universal Declaration of Human Rights? Is it the Communist Manifesto? And this is what really then, they don't include anything else apart from the South African Constitution in 1996. Why is that included? Why is that significant? Is that the ultimate goal for us, to be like South Africa? I mean, I don't really understand the idea of including that one. And given the absolute state of South Africa, and what has happened there since 1996, and remember they erected this in 2015, they must have known what had happened in South Africa. So why is it still being included? In this kind of idea that the most important things to happen in the 20th century were Gandhi and Nelson Mandela. So there it is. I mean, so I ask again, what is it that Elizabeth II stands for? Is it the South African Constitution? Is it, the South Africanization of the United Kingdom? I don't know. But anyway, I thought I'd make this video asking the question, given what is included in this Magna Carta 800 monument that they put there. All right, so I'll leave it there for now. I just wanted to make this as a bit of a conversation starter, really. I'd encourage you to leave comments. This is actually a topic that I'd be interested to see video responses to. Maybe in the grand old tradition of YouTube, people could make some video responses about what is it that Queen Elizabeth II stands for. Because according to this monument, she stands for the Communist Manifesto, Indian independence, and the South African Constitution.
Buy Foundations of Writing on the Academic Agency. To write clearly will help you to think clearly. The ability to communicate ideas in lucid prose is foundational to success in many areas, and it is a basic requirement in every walk of life. You will learn the parts of speech and come to understand the core functions of the English language, sentence construction and syntax, punctuation, style, and common mistakes. Once you see how mistakes are made, you will not unsee them. You will know for the rest of your life. Foundations of Writing. Buy it now.